Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is the daily Patreon podcast. It's later than usual because I have the radio show every Wednesday night. I'm going to see how this works out, doing this time slot after the radio show. If it's too late for people, because I'm thinking on the East Coast right now, it's midnight. Maybe what I'll start doing is on Wednesday, I'll do it at the afternoon time if this is too late for folks. But we'll try it out here on this Wednesday, January 30th. Go through some of the top headlines today, but let's first start with this day in history. January 30th, 1948, Indian political and spiritual leader Mahatma Gandhi, 78, was shot and killed in New Delhi. It's funny here they say he was a Hindu extremist. I've never seen that phrasing before, but he was murdered on a date right for murder by the numbers. It was a date with 79 numerology, and murder has that Gematria 79. Hindu also happens to sum to 79. And in light of him being killed in 48, what's interesting is he was killed exactly 120 days after his birthday with the alphabetic order. Illuminati's 120 with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. Illuminati's 48. He also, you could say, died on his 121st day of his age, and blood sacrifice is 121. His wife also went out by the code. On this day in history, England's King Charles I was executed for high treason. He was killed on his 73rd day of his age. And what do we know about that number? Sacrifice, 73. Mason is also 73. United is 73. Kingdom is 73. So what a day for a king to be executed. In 1933, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany on this date. Fitting date, today that date had 83 numerology, and Germany's 83. So Chancellor of Germany on a very German day. In 1945, during World War II, a Soviet submarine torpedoed the German ship MV Wilhelm Gustloff in the Baltic Sea with the loss of more than 9,000 lives, most of them war refugees. Roughly 1,000 people survived, meaning 9 out of 10 died. What jumps out to me about the name of that ship is the Gematria, 223, 79, like the synagogue of Satan. You know, did the name make it a fateful target? One can only wonder. One of the Wright brothers, the men who helped change the world of flight. One of the Wright brothers died on this day in history. Orville Wright, dead at 76 in Dayton, Ohio. He also died on a date with 79 numerology. Again, murder equals 79. In this case, so does Orville Wright. His name, Gematria. He died on the 165th day of his age. Scottish Rite, 165. You just got to wonder. In 1962, two members of the Flying Walendas High Wire Act were killed when their 7-person pyramid collapsed during a performance at the State Fair Coliseum in Detroit. I noticed this date had 93 numerology, number connected to Saturn. Saturn's associated with death. The name of the group has Gematria of 91, like Detroit, where this tragedy happened. Happened in the year 62, sacrifice 62. In 1969, on this date, the Beatles staged an impromptu concert atop Apple headquarters in London. It was the group's last public performance. And I noticed that was a date with 119 numerology, 119, the all-seeing eye number. The all-seeing eye, important terminology to Masonry. Remember, Masonic in Jewish Gematria sums to 223. So does Beatles. And they released their Please Please Me album, their first, on March 22nd, Once Upon a Time, or 22/3. To this day, we got... I must be tired because I can't even think of his name right now. Paul McCartney. We got Paul McCartney releasing music videos with Masonic symbolism all over them. In 1972, 13 Roman Catholic civil rights marchers were shot to death by British soldiers in Northern Ireland on what became known as Bloody Sunday. And that was part of the period of time known as the Troubles. A lot of conflict, religious conflict, killing, bombing. Couldn't help but notice the Troubles equals 145 and 46 like Catholic. And again, 46 relates to the Catholic faith because their Old Testament has 46 books as opposed to the typical 39 books. And it was Roman Catholics that were killed. So you just got to wonder. Also on this day, Coretta Scott King died in 2006, the wife of Martin Luther King Jr. I noticed that she died 9 months and 3 days after her birthday. Martin Luther King Jr., 93. That was also 39 weeks and days. MLK killed at age 39. To her upcoming birthday was 87 days, and Martin equals 87. You know, as in Martin Luther King Jr. So, what a coincidence. It's funny. This article right here highlights the past days this happened, but they always do this when the Dow reaches 25,000. It's been a roller coaster up and down. It's back up to 25,000 again. It's on the climb. But they call attention when it breaks 25,000 to Trump, and we can understand why. Again, Trump equals 25. Remember how they just moved the State of the Union to February 5th, 2/5. The name Pence equals 25, the vice president. The articles have been written about how Trump could be the first president removed with the 25th Amendment. Again, you know Gematria, you see why they bring attention to certain numbers. And again, I will remind that I highly doubt Donald Trump controls his Twitter, you know. So recall last year, the Friday before the Super Bowl, the market fell 666 points. And then the Monday after the Super Bowl, it fell even more after the Patriots lost. I'm interested to see what happens with the market this year in light of the Patriots being in the Super Bowl again and Trump being the president. Another top story today, the newest twist in the Russia investigation. Pro-Russian Twitter account used non-public Mueller info. What will they think of next? Anyhow, today's January 30th. Robert Mueller investigation's 130. Washington's 130. I'm sure there's a whole lot more here, but they said this thing's winding down, so I guess they got to give us a few more narratives before they let us know it's all over. Russian hackers hacked the Russian probe. And don't forget, Robert Mueller's birthday is August 7th, 87. Russia equals 87, of course. They were supposed to vote on the anti-BDS bill, but they pushed it to tomorrow. And I'm wondering if they pushed it to tomorrow, because tomorrow can be written 31/1, January 31st, 31/1, like 311. 311's the 64th prime. Israel equals 64. Zion equals 64. The occult religion Thelema equals 64, which worships 93. And remember, they first pushed this vote ahead with 93 members of the Senate voting. So I'm real interested to see what the numbers are tomorrow. It looks like it'll pass. You know, how dare you boycott Israel? That's what our senators are telling us. Also, yesterday they had another vote on this, forwarding some additional measures that are related. Yesterday was January 29th. Synagogue has that gematria of 129. I forgot to paste up here. In Jewish gematria, America equals 129. And these additional measures were passed on the 29th. Jewish is 29. With the alphabetic order, Jewish is 74. The The first measures were pushed forward with the 74 votes in favor. January 29th, 2019 was also a date with 69 numerology, anti-BDS, what they're calling this is 69. So the name of this thing, Strengthening America's Security in the Middle East Act of 2019, 227. Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 227, 227, the 49th prime, Washington 49, Scottish 49. The Scottish Rite, the very Jewish branch of Freemasonry. Amazing how they come up with these names. Also, yesterday, January 29th, Roger Stone made these remarks that Trump's presidency could be in trouble and the Russia investigation amounts to a speeding bullet heading for his head. And again, Trump has been compared to Richard Nixon, who resigned, and slightly to JFK around the time they released the files by the numbers. Also, Melania, the first to wear baby blue to Inauguration Day since JFK was inaugurated. So, very interesting remarks. Speeding bullet heading for his head. Remember JFK? You know, it was the Zapruder film, Zapruder from, you know, Soviet Union, modern day Russia. JFK, one of his final speeches at the Berlin Wall. Donald Trump's got the wife from that region of the world. Where is this going? Very interesting remarks. There's just so many ways they can spin the Trump exit narrative if it is to happen. By the way, from Roger Stone's birthday to these remarks on January 29th, those were 155 days later. Killing has that gematria of 155 in the English extended. Also 22 weeks in one day, kind of like 221, the Bavarian Illuminati number. 5 months, 2 days. What do we know about 52? Government, president, authority, Kabbalah, gematria, tree of life, the Cabal. Some interesting numbers there. The day of the remarks. Doesn't he look like he's just having such a good time? It's all an act. Here's something that, you know, really has to make you scratch your head. Facebook's had all these scandals, you know, supposedly lost a lot of subscribers, had a relatively rough year, but then lo and behold, they post a record profit. How can you have such a bad year and make a record profit? How's that even possible? Of course, what have been the big problems for Facebook? You know, spying, information gathering, data collection. Who is all this beneficial to? Of course, our own government. And where do you think Facebook's profits really come from? It's our government that pays for Facebook. Facebook is the government. Been funded by the government since day one. But 6.9 billion profit. I know some things that sum to 69. Illuminati 69, New World Order 69. Don't ever forget that Mark Zuckerberg has the same birthday as Israel. And when he began the company, he went around with the hoodie that had the Star of David on the inside. If you've never seen that interview of Mark Zuckerberg pulling off his hoodie, just do a web search on YouTube. It'll pull up. Type in Zuckerberg hoodie, Star of David. It'll come up. It's from around like 2010 or so, maybe 2009. It's been a while now. But he takes off his hoodie, and on the inside, there's a Star of David. And he gets all sweaty and nervous. And really, you should watch it. But Mark Zuckerberg, his birthday is May 14th, 84. Israel's birthday is May 14th, 48. So, something else. There was another death in the headlines. Jazz musician from Zimbabwe, dead at 66. Just saw the death of James Ingram at 66. Remember when you add 1 through 11, it equals 66. Black equals 11. This man died January 23rd, 2019. He died exactly 123 days after his birthday on 1/23, where conspiracy is 123. And the day he died had 63 numerology. He's a jazz musician, jazz 63. We've seen this before. It was also a date with 36 numerology. His name's Oliver. Oliver's got 36 in both reduction-based ciphers. And it was also a date with 18 numerology, and jazz is 18 both ways. So what do you know? What do you know? Thanks, somebody called in the radio show. They said, hey, did you see that Dick Miller died? And I had him before they called. He died today. He died at age 90, an age that nobody would ever question. But in light of his name being Richard Miller, notice the gematria Richard Miller. Just using the alphabetic order. Richard Miller, 130, dead on January 30th, 1/30. And dying at 90. Remember, 90 is that number when written out that sums to 33, like Hollywood. In his case, also from New York. New York's 33. He died on a date with a life lesson number of 43. Richard's 43. I noticed Deadline emphasized bucket of blood. And type that in, bucket of blood 67, like blood sacrifice is 67, like 67 is the 19th prime. And I didn't take the time to do Gremlins or Terminator. In case you don't know this about me, when I was a child, I thought if I slept with the lights off, I'd get eaten by gremlins. That movie came out when I was really little. And when not my parents and my sister, but when my family, my mom's siblings, found out that I was scared of gremlins, all they would get me for years for Christmas were gremlin action figures and the gremlin VHS. And oh my goodness, gremlins were just the most terrifying thing to me when I was a child. That one with the spiky hair, I think they called him Spike in the movie. But yeah. My family had a good old time with my fear of gremlins, that's for sure. Gremlins poster, just everything gremlins they would get me every year once they heard I was scared of it. Also in the news today, Ariana Grande. Supposedly she posted on her Twitter this new tattoo she got. It was supposed to be a tribute to her new song, 7 Rings or something. Yeah, 7 Rings. But she found out that the tattoo was done incorrectly, and it actually means BBQ grill or barbecue grill. And, you know, this was what CNN had this up as one of their top stories this morning. And I thought, really? I mean, does it even matter? But I was like, well, let's just check. Let's just see. Is it news by the numbers? So here it is right here. You know, everybody's posting that it means BBQ grill. And lo and behold, BBQ grill 43. We got the date with the life lesson number of 43. Tattoo has Gematria 34, which is the reflection of 43. But in light of it being on her palm tattoo is 137, and so is BBQ grill. And in Hebrew, Kabbalah sums to 137, and we covered this last year when Mac Miller died. Earlier in Ariana Grande's music career, it came out that she was practicing Kabbalah and got into Kabbalah after leaving her Catholic faith because her brother, who's a homosexual, was rejected by the church. So that turned her to Kabbalah. And I don't know. I mean, just what are the odds of all this? You know, Kabbalah is 137 in Hebrew, palm tattoo, BBQ grill. Is it an accident? Is it a made up story? Is it more coding? Does it mean something else? Are we going to see another person in connection to Ariana Grande pass away in the near future? I just wonder, because why is CNN covering this as one of their top stories out of all the things going on in the world. You know what I mean? So thought that was interesting. This made me depressed. More people are going to McDonald's. I didn't even think that was possible. All of my life, I've thought McDonald's was gross since I was a kid. And all of my life, especially as I became a teenager and got more into health and nutrition, I've just been amazed by the way people flock to McDonald's. I think McDonald's food quality, at least in appearance, has improved in my lifetime. But I remember when I was a child, McDonald's hamburger patties were routinely gray. Like they didn't look brown like you'd expect from a hamburger. They were gray almost always. And I spotted that as a child. And I was just like, nope. I wasn't raised a vegetarian as a child, but I did not want to eat McDonald's food from a young age because I just saw it. They're gray hamburgers. I was like, really? Anyway, I'm just always amazed at how many McDonald's there are. They're everywhere. And every time you drive by one, all hours of the day, they're busy. Their drive-throughs backed up. It's just like, God, why do people flock to that restaurant? Here I am in this small town. This small town's got a number. What surprised me about this small town, it doesn't only not only does it have a number of McDonald's, it has a number of Burger Kings too. Coming from Seattle, Seattle doesn't have a lot of Burger Kings, but there's Burger King all over this tiny little town. And I'm going to show you something about McDonald's and Burger King here in a second, in case you don't know this already. But it's just amazing to me how people flock to fast food, and it's even expensive now. I understand it more when I was younger. Fast food was inexpensive, but these days fast food's not that cheap. So they report that, how about this? In the last 3 months of 2018, global comparable sales grew 4.4%. 44? This food literally does kill people. It literally does give them cancer, chemo, kill, all 44. You just got to wonder. But today's January 30th, 1 plus 30, 31. McDonald's is 31. When you flip the alphabetic order around, McDonald's, Burger King, Freemasonry, they're all 158. Think about how symbolic the number 13 is to Freemasonry. Look at your dollar bills. 13 layers of bricks with the all-seeing eye on the top. Masonic symbolism all over the thing. The Illuminati established with 13 families. It's Illuminati symbolism as well. Illuminati is a Masonic network, a Masonic fraternity. Anyhow, M, McDonald's, M is the 13th letter. When you put the McDonald's, you know how a lot of times the line will be beneath, when you tip it on its side, it becomes a 13, a lot of the way the McDonald's logo is. This one doesn't have it because the line's not here. But when you do tip the classic McDonald's logo on its side, it becomes a 13. And think about what BK is. B's the second letter, K's the 11th. 2 plus 11, 13. 13, 13. 211, what do we know about that number? Mason is 211 in Jewish Gematria, the 47th prime. But yeah, it just blows my mind. It's like, how can McDonald's be bigger than what it already is? I mean, I really do think the main problem with people is their diet. I think the average person, their body's toxic from what they eat. It makes it so their mind doesn't work right. And, the golden arches are leading the way. They're saying the measles outbreak, it's spread now to another corner of the nation. We have it going on in Oregon and Washington, and now they're adding New York to the list. Sure, California, Los Angeles isn't too far off. But the outbreak news comes today on the outbreak update, I should say, comes on the 30th, outbreak 30. Today's date has the life lesson number of 43. Measles is also 43, adding a new state to the mix. And as we covered, Washington, where this began, is the 42nd state. They're pushing for vaccines and mandatory vaccines, and so parents can't get out of it in the states where they can. It's happening in Washington on the Oregon-Washington border. Clark County is just across the river from Portland, Oregon. A lot of people live in Clark County and shop in Portland because there's no sales tax in Oregon. That's the thing to do. Anyhow, Oregon has the Gematria 74. Again, like measles, when you write out 42, it's 74. Washington's the 42nd state. So you can see why they did this, where they did. And they said in the article, the last time there was a big outbreak like this was in 96. Remember, the divisors of 42 sum to 96. That mathematical relationship, Freemason 96 and 42. So we know who runs the show. Speaking of 96, how about this? A 96-day church service to protect asylum seekers ends with government deal. And again, 96, big Freemason number. The article says it's a Dutch church. I noticed the post time was 5:04 p.m. about a Dutch church, 5454. Freemasonics, 54. Jesuit orders, 54. It began October 26th. There's just a number of things that just jumped out about this story. The name of the family has Gematria of 119. Vatican's 119. Church in the square cipher, which I don't talk about very much, just squaring each number. So A is 1, B is 2 times 2, so 4. C is 3 times 3, so 9. H, oh, you just square each number. You guys get it. H is 8 times 8, so 64. U is 21 times 21. Anyway, in this cipher, church is 911. Church is also 101 in our base ciphers, the 26th prime. This began on the 26th of October. It was at the Bethel Church. That's the name of the church. Some standout Gematria, 113. 59 and 58 Freemasonry, 211, the 47th prime Christian 47. You just got to ask, why is it every day the stuff that is reported in the news is encoded the way it is and always pointing back in one direction? And again, it's no secret that Freemasonry is behind religion. I mean, if you go to a church, ask your minister if he's a Mason. Odds are he is. Most of them are in the York Rite, though, not the Scottish Rite. Here's Kirsten Sinema, who we picked to win the election. Have you guys seen this story? Somebody passed this on to me today. I hadn't seen this, but I got a kick out of this. Look at what she was wearing at the Senate. I mean, by all means, dress the way you want, but this really does not look like the outfit you wear to go to the Senate. Here she is on the floor. Keep in mind, Kirsten Sinema, she just was one of the people who voted for the anti-boycott. She's in favor of it, of course. But I don't know. It's just like, dress how you want, but I mean, really? She's bringing some youth to the Senate. I think she's 42 years old. That's right. She's 42. So. Some of these tweets that they put in these articles are pretty funny, actually. Kirsten Sinema by the numbers. And a lot of people have been bringing up the book that was written in 1896. Having to do with a man named Trump that seemingly foreshadowed Donald Trump's presidency. Again, 1896 is 120 years before 2016 when he became president-elect. Inauguration day is January 20th, 1/20. Like 120, Illuminati's 120. The word marvelous that they emphasized in this, I did this blog post in 2017. This was brought attention to by the Daily Mail, August 2nd, 2017. But that word that they emphasize, marvelous, and they also emphasize Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey. Anyway, look at marvelous Barron Trump and Donald Trump. Notice 138, 138, 138. And in the reduction cipher, Barron Trump and Donald Trump are both 48. Remember, Illuminati's 48 as well. And this was 120 years before 2016. Marvelous is 39. Another special number. Masonry is 39. If you use the rule for S, marvelous is also 48. So Barron Trump 132, so is marvelous, like the 132 rooms in the White House. United States of America 132. Remember, from the establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati May 1st, 1776 to the naming of the United States of America September 9th was 132 days later. I noticed also this 185 up here in their article. Let me see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got it. Donald John Trump, 185. And they love to do that with their comments and their shares, code other numbers in there that are relevant to the story. Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey. The 181, that's the 42nd prime. But yeah, it really does seem like some serious predictive programming and very real potential evidence of just how far out things are planned. Remember that Trackdown episode came out when Donald Trump was a boy. Came out a span of 37 days from his 12th birthday, Donald Trump. 37's the 12th prime. Born for the throne, just like he says. You know, born for the job, and that Serta mattresses in. There wasn't a real busy news cycle today. Young Decoder, he called into the radio show and he caught this. This headline was from the end of 2018. It was reported this year 113 people have been killed or injured in school shootings in the United States. That was for 2018, and that was the year where Stoneman Douglas High School was the big focus. Stoneman Douglas High School, 113. Got a lot of parallels to Sandy Hook Elementary School, another 113. Do you believe it, Truth Seeker? Let me see if anybody's even joined us on this late evening, our latest podcast to date. Check out the chat here. We got 30 people in the room, thanks to the 30 dedicated Truth Seekers. Jen's here, Marty's here, John's here, Gematria's here. Denim doesn't have a wrench. Here, I'll give Denim a wrench. I don't know why he didn't have one. He must just have it on the sports channel, but now he's got one. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Yeah, Kirsten Sinema, exactly. Her name's like a movie, right? Yeah, it's getting late. We can wrap this up, you guys. Hey, glad you enjoyed it, JR. Looks like you need a wrench, too. Who else needs a wrench here? The glitch in your matrix, he needs a wrench. Yeah, I could take Wednesday off, but, you know, there's always more. There's always more. So we'll wrap it up here for the day. It's been a full day indeed. And my eyes are ready for a rest. So appreciate all you guys. Nathan, did you get a wrench? Here, Nathan, you can have a wrench too. I saw we had a good day with the sports picks too, so glad to see the sports picks are getting back on track today. It's been a rough week, that's for sure. I will. I'm about to have my nightly chamomile. I drink a little chamomile tea before I go to bed. So be doing that just now. Be back tomorrow. You guys have a great day. For all you sports enthusiasts, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. Till next time, Truth Seeker.